years specializing in the SIT methodology we're going to be learning today, and really seeing the possibility and how do we really create a change within an organization, and really seeing innovation not only as tools but also a mindset, a way we work with, and you're going to see it today more in depth. So when we talk about innovation, I think it became really a buzzword in recent years, and it's a tendency to talk about innovation. Nevertheless, not everybody knows really what innovation stands for. And here we want to give a meaning again of something which is very practical, which can connect to everything you're doing already, and really seeing that how small changes in what you do. And today we're going to be focusing especially on the ability to transform processes can bring a lot of value. And innovation, it's many times it's incremental and not disruptive, which means small changes we create really brings this value. And another thing I wanted to say right on the start is relating to creativity, which I think is very much what's needed. It's kind of the main quality that we talk about when we talk about innovation, and mostly highlighting our core belief that each and every one of us is very creative. Not all of us think we're so creative, but we're all very creative. And it's really about knowing the right tools, having the right methodology, the right procedure, which helps our brain to be creative. And it's kind of something that we have as kids, and we don't use it if we do something as a routine, if we repeat doing the same thing over and over. So we kind of don't use this muscle. And I really like this allegory of thinking about it like a muscle. So like we go to the gym, as we practice it more, we have it more. And today you're going to be just seeing something which will allow you to access this innate creativity that we all have. And I think what really helps it's this methodology, which I've been exploring for the last 10 years and keep on being surprised at the amazing things she brings. So it's called SIT, which stands for Systematic Inventive Thinking. Something that in first, if you think about it, something systematic sounds like something like a procedure, something which maybe has to do with engineering, a process that goes from one place to another, but not necessarily something creative. And inventive sounds like something new and sparkling, but really combining these two things in a way of thinking and creating procedures which really work in the same way our brain works. And the thing is that our brain really works well within restrictions. And that breaks kind of the first fixedness, the first perception that some of us have about creativity and innovation. So let me explain. A lot of us know this riddle. It's called the 9 dots riddle, and it's quite simple. It says you need to touch all dots with 4 straight lines without picking up your pen or pencil from the paper. So some of you might know it, and the ones who don't can think about it. And it was given to many people during experiments like back in the 60s. And the thing is that in order to solve this riddle, you need to come out from the imaginary box. And actually, when you go out of the imaginary box of the 9 dots, it's very easy to find 4 straight lines to touch all the dots. And from there came the expression which became so common, like in order to be creative, you need to think outside the box. And but actually thinking outside the box, it's a nice term, and I understand what it means, but many times it brings us to think that we need something external in order to innovate, that we need some new technology, some new novelty. I've worked a lot in Latin countries, so in there they have a perception that they need like someone from the West, kind of someone from the States, which brings new kind of mindset. And it's contrary to the notion that we have around innovation, which is actually thinking inside the box. And it's very much kind of the core perception, and actually the name of the book, which was written about this methodology. And it brings up the following notion and understanding. But in actually, we innovate within limitations, within restrictions. We always have limitations in terms of time, in terms of budget, in terms of technology, in terms of knowledge. What do we know and what we don't know? But when we harness and we actually understand that these limitations can help us, the innovation process becomes quite different. So we really understand that limitations inspire creativity. And I like to think of the state of Israel in this context. It's a place which is mostly desert. It's a new country without a lot of water. It's kind of Middle East, and water and resources are kind of the main issue. Nevertheless, Israel has been growing immensely in terms of population, very much in favor of a lot of creative solutions, which has to do with water, agriculture, and kind of right usage of crops. We grow almost everything within the desert, and it has to do with being in a situation which has a lot of limitation where you have to find solutions. And in a way, it's the way kids think. You know, they have a real need, they have something, a problem they want to solve. So they will find a solution, they will find a new way. And they're not limited by a lot of ideas on how things should be done. So I just really like to think about it. You know, that when we come to innovation, we want to find this kids mindset, this innocence mindset, and kind of thinking of new possibilities in new pathways. But it does bring us to a problem because we're not kids anymore. And I think we all want to be creative. Like each and every one of us would like to outstand in our solutions, in our problem solving, in just bringing new ideas, new spark to whatever we do. And nevertheless, there is something that stops us. And I think that if we take a moment to look at what stops us from being creative, and I'm going to be needing to convince you that it's so, we can overcome it. And you'll see how the methodology we're going to be learning today will help you to do that. So I'm excited to go through this journey. And just to really to outline one last thing, that you know, neuroscience in recent years really shows that our brain is very flexible. There is incredible flexibility to our brain to create new pathways, to change, to really think creatively. And I really like this professor, Rex Young, which talks about the way that when we force ourselves to be in a situation, we create new pathways of thinking, which just brings us to the point that we can really change in the way we think and become more creative in what we do.